Want to go, pretty boy?
Two minutes by yourself and you feel shame, and then you get free.
The only thing better than a glass of beer is tea with Miss McGill.
And welcome to the Fourth Line Voice Podcast. My name is Darren. Thank you very much for tuning in. Episode 438 of The Big Show, some enforcer-based podcasting coming at you, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. How's everybody doing out there? Another Sunday, rolling here, ending the weekend. But I have a cool guest for you guys today. Yes, I have a very special interview with Hank the Tank. That's right, Matt Henry, former Battleford star, and Brandon Wheat King. And I sit down and talk to Matt about his career and his fights and teammates and opponents and his thoughts on a few things and the future. And thank you very much for tuning in. I want to take this time right now to thank Matt again for coming on the show. Great guest. Actually, it was about a year ago at this time. I did a player spotlight on Matt and kind of went down the rabbit hole and kind of broke down all his fights and talked about them. And I'm sure I have a lot of new listeners to the show because they're tuning in to hear Matt's story. And welcome, thank you. Please check out the back catalog. I've interviewed a lot of Western Hockey League players over the years. My friend Yuka out in Finland was a huge Matt Henry fan because I was going to say anybody that has listened to this show for any length of time knows I don't watch hockey anymore. I don't pay much attention to it. Certainly not Western like junior hockey anymore. This show is, obviously we're kind of talking about the good old days and that type of thing. But I'll watch some fights and stuff, obviously from the new stuff. But anyway, Yuka got a hold of me and said, "Yeah, you got to check out this kid in Brandon. This Matt Henry's a throwback. You'll dig it, and you'll dig him." And I went back and went down the rabbit hole watching his fights, and it was like, this is definitely old school, and love the attitude, and the fights were great. And actually, Yuka made a fight compilation. It's all of most of Matt's fights. I think he's missing 5 or 6 from his career, but it's about 20 minutes. I'm gonna put the it's on YouTube. I'm gonna put the link in the show notes. So if you want the description box or whatever you want to call it. So if you want to go check it out, I encourage you to, because actually throughout this interview, I reference it. So if you want to check it out, while we're talking here, I encourage you to. It's a great video. But before we get talking to Matt here, I got to do some housekeeping stuff and talk to you about a few things, and then we'll get rolling. But as I said, a member of the Hockey Podcast Network. There's over 100 shows in the network. I'm on the original content creator side. Myself, old Terry Ryan from old Shoresy season 5 being filmed as we speak. Also, my boy Joe Lazito out in New York. It's a New York Islanders based podcast. That's what it started out as. He's actually been interviewing some different guys. He calls it going off the island. And right now he's got part 2 with Luke Gauthier, and Showbert Canadian. And I encourage you to check that out. Plus Joe's back catalog is tremendous, like Asham and Strudwick and Fakota and Eric Bolton and on and on. Joe's been doing this for a while. So and he's got a great back catalog, does a great job. And I highly encourage you to check that out. Also, my other venture, I have 2 podcasts. If one isn't bad enough, I decided to hit the world with a second one. Yes. But I'm not alone in this. Oh, yes, I'm joined by the 2 other jokers, my friends Jay and Alec. And it is called the Bruised and Battered Podcast. And it is a current look at minor league hockey from the Federal, Southern Pro, East Coast, American Hockey League, and the LNAH at times. And yeah, I just said I don't watch hockey, but yet I do a current hockey podcast. Yeah, I know it's kind of bizarre, but those two guys are sort of, they do all the news and updates and stuff. I'm just sort of chimey in the background, throwing in my 2 cents. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing this show. We just started that show. We're on episode 20 now. And like I said, we've been interviewing current players. And this week we interview Wheeling Nailers top guy Matt Corsia, and great guest. And I encourage you to please check it out. And we have, like I said, we have a lot of fun, Jay and Alec and I. And yeah, and actually, and the feedback's been really positive so far. Like I said, we're a young show, only 20 episodes in, but yeah, real strong. So out of the gates here for a first season, so to speak, and I'm really enjoying it. All our episodes come out every Friday, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And yeah, well, and for the WHL listeners that are listening for the Henry interview, I think it was a couple episodes ago, we actually had Cade McNally on, former Seattle T-Bird. So and that was a fun interview. And of course, he's doing great down in Tulsa this year. And I encourage you to check out that interview. And yeah, no, it bruised and battered. It said it's been a lot of fun so far. But yeah, well, I mean, I guess there's no point in me kind of yammering on because no one tuned in to listen to me. If you happen to be on social media, I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but if you are, please follow me on social media on Twitter, not so much on Twitter anymore, but I'm on Twitter, but Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Fourth Line Voice. Also, my YouTube channel. I have over 2,500 fight videos on the channel. Lots of old WHL stuff. You old Brandon folks. I got a couple of Ryan Reeves fights from Brandon. Oh, Ponte, Tutu. Yeah, back some Jeff Odgers. That's how far we go back. But yeah, 2,500 videos from all different leagues. I encourage you to please subscribe to the channel. Go down the rabbit hole. You'll be entertained for hours. And please, if you're like I said, if you're listening to the show for the first time, again, I encourage you to go back and check out the back catalog. Have a great guests. Some old former, like I said, some old former Western Hockey League players, minor league guys, etc. So, yeah. So, yeah, if this is your first time here, like I said, welcome. And for the long time listeners, thank you. And as I always say, I know there's thousands of podcasts to listen to these days, and the fact that you took time out of your day and chose to listen to the Fourth Line Voice, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And if you could please, the star rating at the top there, if you could rate the show, that would be outstanding. It helps me out in the algorithms and stuff. And yeah, other than that, enjoy. I'm gonna hit you. Hey, we gotta pay some bills around here, folks. Hey, March Madness is right around the corner. My favorite time of year. I love betting on that tournament. I'm going to hit you with a DraftKings ad. Please use the promo code THPN. Actually, if you listen to, if you're not already betting, really good. Honestly, really $5 gets you $150. Pretty good sign up bonus if you ask me. But check that out, and yeah, and then we'll get rolling with Matt Henry once again. Thanks, Matt. Thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And yeah, Hank the Tank. Here you go, folks. Enjoy, and yeah, we'll talk to you cats next Sunday. Thanks, everybody.
And now, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, basketball fans, are you ready to win some real money? Check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 dunks on its rivals, including Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players and choose if they will have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Missouri, and more. Don't settle for a small payout. Switch to Pick 6 and cash in your basketball knowledge. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the promo code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to pay $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins. Only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms and pick6draftkings.com/promos.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
All right, here on the Fourth Line Voice, I have a special guest today, Hank the Tank, Matt Henry. Matt, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. We've been setting this up for a while. Well, I think it was last year, right? I did the player spotlight on you. I went down the rabbit hole and did some commentary on all your fights, and here we are a year later. We're going to hear from you, the man himself. How have you been doing since the folks last saw you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Just staying busy working and going to the gym and just kind of, living a regular life, I could say.
There we go. Well, like I was telling you off air here, and for the folks that for the show here, what I like to do with the player interviews is obviously I like to timeline the guy's whole career. So obviously we'll start at the beginning and we'll work all the way up through Brandon here. So we'll start at the beginning. Where were you born and raised, and where did you play your minor hockey?
So I was born in Saskatoon.
Oh, what a great place.
And then my first year initiation was here in North Battleford. And then, or maybe I got that wrong. I can't remember. It was so long ago, man, I can't remember shit from there. But I played a year in Saskatoon and a year here. And then I played my first year novice in North Battleford, second year novice in Saskatoon for the Bobcats, I believe.
There you go. Tremendous.
And then, Pee-wee was in Saskatoon. I played for the Express and the Thunder. And then I moved to PA, and I played for the Pirates there for 2 years. And, once hitting started, I always had an edge, even when I was younger. Off the ice, too, no doubt. And, when basketball came with the hitting, that's when I kind of started to mold, I guess, myself. I mean, I was scoring goals and playing, I'm not saying I didn't play hockey in junior, but, playing first-line minutes and that kind of shit. And then I was AP'd with the Mintos there my second year Bantam in Prince Albert for the AAAs. And then I went to the spring camp, and they, fucking cut me. So I was like, it was kind of a shit show. They cut me, and then I was kind of panicking. I'm like, my God, am I not going to play AAA? So then, last hope, I came to North Battleford, and I played I guess we'll call it a year and a half of midget because the COVID year.
Yep.
My second year.
Yep.
And, my first year midget, I was playing third, fourth line minutes, and, I'd start most games. And, and I guess in midget is when I really started to mold, I should say, and kind of had more of an edge. I think I had 1 or 2 scraps my first year midget, I believe. One was against Aaron Lorenz and Beardy's when they were still going. And then COVID happened. And then first year junior was with the North Stars, and that was hands down probably one of the best times of my life, honestly, man.
Yep. Well, we'll get into all that, but I was going to tell the folks that are listed here, we're going to back up a little bit. Yeah, with the Prince Albert Pirates, 20. Hey, look at this, 29 games, 20 goals, 25 assists. Look at Hank the Tank, you're dangling out there back in the day. Hey, there we go. But, well, like you said, it's, the shit show and, you can't beat the politics of minor hockey. That never ends. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's funny. I don't think the politics ever end in hockey. Doesn't matter what age. But like you said, you played your AAA there at Battleford. And then you go to the SJHL with the Battleford North Stars. 52 games, 16 points, 216 minutes. And we'll kind of go there. like you said, you kind of like you like the hitting and everything else. I don't want to say did the fighting come easy to you, but like were you kind of, it's one thing to be a hitter, but when it came down to the fighting, was that something like going forward, going into the SJHL, you knew you were going to have to do, or did it sort of like, did someone pull you aside one day and be like, hey, you better start fighting, or how did that all happen?
Honestly, man, like when I was a little kid, like I just loved watching hockey fights.
Yep.
You know, like when I was little, I would dream about, it was the Civic Center, but now it's the ACC or wherever the fuck it is. Like fighting in a North Star uniform, like when I was a little kid.
Yep.
Like, honest to God, man, I don't know. It wasn't like to be an idiot, you know, to fight. It's just like, you know, being the guy, you know, like growing up, I watched like McGrattan and Reaver when they were young, like when he was young coming into the league, and like all these big guys, you know, when I was younger, in the late 2000s, and there was quite a bit of fighting then still in the NHL.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just wanted to be the guy. I don't know. It came easily, I should say.
Did you take any boxing or MMA or anything like that?
Like here and there when I was younger, like I guess my brother fighting was probably the most boxing I got when I was young.
Yep.
And then here in Battleford, I was doing MMA with Corey Chambers at the Green Dojo, and MMA's pretty good shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's interesting. When you kind of cross over to like fighting on the ice, I mean, obviously the grappling component of it has got to be a huge advantage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to have strong hands to keep your grip to say if you're swinging around with a guy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you this. This was going to be one of my questions later, but since we're kind of talking, like, I mean, I'll ask it now. But like, I know your dad was a competitive bodybuilder, so yeah. Well, so clearly, like weightlifting and diet, like how I'm assuming that was probably obviously big around your house.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So I mean, you've sort of been like lifting weights or into obviously the physical culture and eating clean and everything. Probably your whole life, if I'm guessing. Yeah,
like when I was 11 years old was the first time I actually stepped in a gym. I went to Ironworks on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Absolutely, in the basement. I love it. Yeah, that's old school right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the cage.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I was young and I loved it, and I love it still. 9 years later. Yeah.
Well, going through it, so the SJ, you get in there, and like you said, you had 200 minutes, and I mean, there was a couple cats skating around the SJ. I mean, you know, the old Tufts. Well, I keep saying the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Junior A, folks, for the listeners out there. I have it down here as your first fight was against Ethan Hilbig. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. He's my buddy.
Oh, there you go. Did you guys have that?
Yeah.
Was he your friend before or friend after?
Oh, me and him have known each other for years, and like we're good buddies.
Yo, so I was gonna say before the game, were you like, you're gonna give me one, like we're doing it tonight, or was it sort of like part of the play, or did you have it set up?
Well, like in preseason, like he was wearing a bubble, and like I was in a visor, and like in preseason, I was an absolute idiot. Like I was just trying to fight every single person that touched me. Like if someone even touched me, I was just asking them to fight. Like, and I'm not even kidding. And then I remember him telling me in Kinners, he's like, I'll goal you in regular season. And then before we fought, we had a little mini line brawl against them. We had 5 guys in each box. And then, yeah, my next shift, fucking me and him were going out in front of the net. And just kind of just said, fuck it, let's go. And yeah, it was a decent fight. Like, you know, like he's got height on me, obviously. But, you know.
Good one for the first. Fight. Good one for the first one. Yeah, I mean that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, especially for, you know, if you were kind of getting ready for it, and you're a fan. Now all of a sudden, oh, here we go. There's no suspensions anymore. I'm wearing a half visor. You must have been like, yeah, like you said, you're just itching to fight now.
Yeah, I was, man. I had like in my first 7 games, I think I had 80 penalty minutes.
Well,
or something like that. It it was ridiculous.
Well, one of the cats you met, I've seen video of here you fighting a couple times. And of course, he actually went on and played in the East Coast Hockey League and was Connor Kaspari.
Yeah, no, he was a tough hombre, and I didn't even know who he was until after we fought. And my old man was like, do you know who that, do you know who that was? And I'm like, no, apparently he was tough. But, I mean, I think I did pretty well against him.
Yeah, you did.
And that fight, we were tied 2-2. We ended up winning the game. And Sambo, my coach, Brian Clamasco, didn't want me to fight. And then me and him kind of just got tied up when we were going to change at the end of a shift, which is like the worst time to fight. But, adrenaline kicks in. You're good. Yeah, we just got tied up. He looks at me. He's like, you fucking want it? And I heard Sambo. He's like, Hank, no. And then, my gloves just came off naturally. And then, so we had a pretty good tilt. And he left me with a couple good welts. And then he broke my fucking helmet at the end of the fight. But, I mean, he was pretty tough.
Yes, and I believe in senior hockey this year, he led the Twin Lake League in penalty minutes as well. So there we go. He's back in action. Yeah. Another guy you fought a couple times, Matt Raymond.
Yeah, Matt Razor Raymond, is what they called him, I think, or something like that. And we went up to Flan for the first time we played them. And I remember, the 20s on my team, Zaw and Witter and a couple other guys, they're like, you got to go this guy or that kind of deal. And I started the game against him. And I always like to come in last, but he beat me to the punch, on opening draw as a winger.
Yep.
And fuck, did he just two-hand me as hard as he could. And then, he's like, this is the first shift of the game, and if you fight, you're out of the game because you get a 5 and 10. And he's like, let's go. And then, mid-shift, I'm looking at my coaches, can I go him? And they're like, yeah, go him. And then he doesn't go me. And then I got a pretty good clip I could send you someday of our second game of the home with them. We were down 4-2, and I just went on and just went ape shit on him, and he wouldn't go me. And then obviously came back to North Battleford, and then he tried to jump me, actually. The camera doesn't catch it, but I hit him. And I asked him to go, and he didn't say anything, so I turned around, and then all of a sudden his gloves were off. But still, give him respect.
Wow. And that's always one of the, speaking of Flim Flam, that I know in the SJHL, that's always talked about. I know talking to my brother about it back in the day when he's been Melville and his first trip to Flim Flam. Everyone's first trip to Flim Flam, they're like, wait till you see this place. And maybe it's changed since the 90s and stuff, but what was your first impressions on that bus when you're rolling into Flim Flam? What were your first impressions of the place?
Oh, I was excited, man. I was super excited. I was just jittering. I knew the atmosphere. In regular season, the atmosphere was so unbelievable, actually. And then, obviously, sidetracking here, but we played them in playoffs our first round, and my God, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, the locals love it. I mean, and they get. I know in Flim Flam when they score, when they score their first goal, do they throw the moose leg on the ice still?
No, that's just when they win at the end of the game.
Oh, okay. I knew they threw a moose leg at some point. Yeah. But there's the stories of Flim Flam are legendary. And I mean, legendary team junior hockey, and have been around forever. And the alumni is crazy that's come out of Flim Flam. And that's a different world up there, folks. But so you wrap up your season in the SJHL. Like we said, 52 games, 216 minutes. The following year, you make the Brandon Wheat Kings. Now, had they been, I'm assuming they had been talking to you, or was it just sort of was it one of those, I'm going to go to whatever team and hopefully to make the best of it? Or, I guess put it this way, how surprised were you to make the Brandon Wheat Kings?
Well, I only packed for 3 days.
Okay, well, there you go.
That way.
Yeah.
So, and then I made the inter-squad game, the black and gold or whatever the colors they use there. And, I was shocked, to say the least. You know, I just didn't think I kind of fit in with the kind of players that were there, like a lot of finesse and, you know, that kind of style. Like, you know, not my style anyways.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and they were, you know, obviously impressed, and they gave me a shot, and, you know, they were really good to me for 2 years there.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, was it sort of an out of the blue over the summer? They invited you, or had they talked to you when you were in Battleford? Like, did you have any interaction with them before that?
Well, I talked to Chris Moulton in October of 2021, and you know, it kind of got to my head, like not in a bad way, just kind of like nerve-wracking almost.
Yeah.
To think like, you know, I could be playing there next year.
Yeah.
You know, and then I kind of went on a kind of shitty stretch of games after that, and like you know, just kind of fucked with me a little bit. You know, it was just nerve-wracking, because like I just kind of figured I'd be in the SJ and play till I'm 20 or whatever I do.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know, because I went to Lethbridge camp at 15 and didn't make it past rookie camp.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured my dreams were shattered there. So yeah, I was shocked, to say the least. And then over the summer, you know, I got cold feet, you know, like I normally do. And I was telling Moltzy, I'm like, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to come. And then I remember I was at the gym after work at like 9 or 10 o'clock, and me and him talked. And then I just kind of flipped the switch, and I'm like, no, I'm going to go to camp and just give it a shot at least. So at least I say I went, kind of deal. And then, yeah.
And then just sort of keep surviving cut after cut after cut. And well, how was training camp? Like, did you go in there and just start blasting guys and fighting, or were you trying to like, oh, I could play? Like what was your attitude going into camp? Like, how did the training camp go?
Well, it went good. Like, I was trying to fight that his name's Owen Harris. He was their scrapper the year prior, and he said he'd give me one, and then he kind of hemmed and hawed about it, and then he never did. So I never got a fight in training camp, and I wasn't really hit until I got to the inter-squad game. You know, I'm not being cocky or whatever you want to say. Like, I just really didn't want to hurt somebody, because there were some smaller guys out there. But I was throwing a few hits, but I wasn't running around like I normally would.
Yeah, well, of course your coach is Don McGilvery. Did he kind of like at the end of camp when he sat you down? Like, was it? Did they make it pretty abundantly clear what you were there for?
You know, it's one of those things where it's like nowadays I don't think you can really tell a guy.
Yeah.
You know, in my role, because just the way that things are, and like I don't give a shit. Like, you can tell me straight, but you know, they kind of, you know, energy guy, you know, good in the room kind of deal. But like I know what I'm there for. Yeah.
Well, and so okay. Well, like you said, you make the team. So yeah, here you are in the Western Hockey League with the Brandon Wheat Kings, and I mean, you know, and for those that don't know, I mean, like the Brandon Wheat Kings have the history of toughness that has come out of the Brandon. I mean, going back to, you know, Dave Semenko and Jordan Tutu and Randy Ponte and Ryan Reeves. And I mean, that had to be something, man. You make the Wheat Kings. And I mean, not only and then you got the great players like Wade Redden and, you know, Ray Ferraro and all that. Right. So, I mean, that's such a history in the Western Hockey League. Well, you get there and now you get your billets and everything else. What's your first impressions of Brandon? Just in general.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a good fit. Like, you know, maybe you go somewhere and, you know, you just get that gut feeling like, you know, maybe this isn't it. But I mean, when I was in Brandon, it felt like home. And I had super good billets, like Brian and Amber. They treated me like it was just, everything worked out so good in Brandon. You know, like, you know, yeah, there were, you know, shit times but that's just life. But I mean, everything in general was just like worked out so good.
Well, and I think being, because you were 18, right? So, I mean, you would have been done school and stuff, and like, which would probably be a big help too. You're obviously a little older, and you can get set up a little better. But yeah, just because I mean, in Brandon, that's the one thing playing for the Brandon Wheat Kings. I mean, every bus trip is long. That's the one thing playing in Brandon. I can't even imagine those bus trips. Those must have been brutal.
Yeah, man, like the day trips to PA, and a good example is when I fought that Grady Martin, we had a day trip to PA, and then we played Seattle in Brandon the next day. And oh fuck, that was brutal, man. Like just so grueling. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we can't. There's no beds on the bus. Like you're cramped up with another guy laying across the seats or on the floor with a pillow. And oh fuck, they were pretty grueling. Is the word I'd use.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and of course, I have to ask you. I mean. At that time, 2022 and 23, you're playing, and you're in the same division as the Regina Pats. And, of course, playing for the Regina Pats is probably a name a few of the listeners know, Connor Bedard. What was it like playing against that kid?
Yeah, like it was pretty cool. I got one shift against him, and it's just like, kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to stay focused on the game, but you're playing fucking Connor Bedard. So it's like, that's generational talent. Like, I mean, it was pretty cool. Hell of a player. I mean, fuck, like I was beaking him in Regina pretty good actually, and had him pretty pissed off. He ended up taking a penalty, but I mean, still, like, he's still going to score a fucking hat trick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, I mean, you got like Nate Danielson on your team, of course, first round pick, 9th overall with Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you, like playing in the Western League, like I said, you're playing against Connor Bedard, and you got Nate Danielson on your team, and like Chase Wheatcroft out there, Prince George, and guys like that are, is there just like being around those guys, like, or being around Nate, for example, what's the work ethic like? It's just a different level.
Oh, for sure, and I would say it's more of like a mindset they have.
Yeah,
they're very focused people. Like, yeah, we all goof around, have our fun, but they just they're just a different breed. And I think a guy's just born like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's born to do what they're here to do, and like, it was pretty cool playing with Danny, and a hell of a guy too. So. Yeah, I would say it's more of a mindset. I mean, the work ethic too, but yeah, I would say mindset would be the difference.
Now, in terms of just playing in the Western, I know this is kind of a loaded question, but maybe, I don't know how you're going to answer it, but just in terms of the SJH, like, what are the differences that you found between the SJHL and the Western League?
I would say just more like finish and passing. And the speed of play for sure. Like, yeah, it's a lot faster in the dub. Like, I'm not discrediting the SJ at all. Like, it's still a hell of a league, and it was still tough when I played. Like, you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
But I think the SJ was just more crash and bang than the dub. Like, you've seen a lot more like bigger hits when I played, anyways. I don't not now really. I'm gonna be honest. But that's what I found, just like the finish and the passing and, systems too. I mean, power play, like most teams usually score every time they get a power play.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I guess everything's kind of just done a little quicker and a little crisper.
Yeah.
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 Well, now we gotta get into the fighting here. I gotta ask you about a couple guys. One of the guys you had a bit of a rivalry with over the couple years there in the Western League was Ashton Cumbie. And I know you guys had a preseason fight, and then you had a couple fights in the regular season. You guys beat the shit out of each other. Those are some pretty good tilts. Was there any heat with you guys? Like, was there a personal thing there? Because I know the one fight, the linesman kind of jump in there and they're breaking it up, and he throws one, and then you throw one between the refs, and was there some hatred going on against Cumbie?
Oh no, not at all, man. I actually just talked to him last night on Snapchat of all things. No, man. Like I got a lot of respect for that guy, and they were stage fights, but we always made sure that it was at a good time to go. We maybe talk to the linesman and just say, hey, like, don't come in until we're fucking done, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, that fight in Wenatchee, we had. We talked in warm-ups. Like, we literally just shot the shit in warm-ups, like just about the summer and, like, nothing to do with hockey at all. And then as we were going back, I'm like, hey, like, let's have a good one tonight. Like, let's go till our arms drop. And he's like, yeah. And then, so, I mean, like, we just hit each other in the face as hard as we could, as many times as we could. And we smiled about it after.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I always want to point out with people, because I know they love throwing out the staged fight and whatever. And then sometimes people have this, it's a staged fight. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, well, it means something to the two guys that are in it. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're not play fight. Like, it's almost like they talk like it's almost like it's WWE or something, like it's not a real fight. And it's like, well, no, they're really smashing each other. Like, yeah. There's a difference between set up and not real, Oh,
absolutely. And like we're bleeding, we're hurt, we're bruised, and we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the team. We're doing it for our coaches. We're doing it for our management, for the fans. I'm not fighting for myself, as much as I like it. Like, I'm not fighting to be like, oh yeah, that kind of deal. Like, I'm fighting for the boys. Like,
yeah,
because I know they love to see it, and and I would say every one of my fights was pretty entertaining.
I would agree. Yeah.
Except for a couple were really quick because the guy couldn't stay on his goddamn feet, but has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's every once in a while a guy gets in a bad spot and he's going to bail, right? So it's or pull you down and whatever, but I mean, they all can't be 5-star classics, but I mean, well, I know from back in the day, in the old Western League, it was always you pop the lids and square it off. How frustrating was that nowadays? Like, you couldn't, because I'm assuming you'd want to take your helmet off, and obviously with the rules you couldn't and everything else. What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, I mean, you get those fights for you're pissed off at each other and you kind of just grab and go.
Yeah.
That kind of deal. But I think you should be allowed to, because as I was saying, that documentary I watched with Chris Nealon and Probert, McSorley, you're taking your bucket off for the other guy. And I mean, they didn't really do it in the 80s and 90s. It became more prominent, I guess I could say, later on. You're just, respect for the guy's hands, I guess you could say. And punching them helmets does not feel good.
No. Well, and that was the thing with Probert, they didn't have to deal with visors, right? So it was like, and even when Probert and those guys were in junior, they didn't wear visors in junior back then. Like, that only came in 87 or 88, right kind of when Twist and them were around. It's kind of when visors started. So then that's when they take the helmets off all the time, right? Yeah, so... Yeah, the whole visor thing. Yeah, I see you kids nowadays, man, and I mean, that's the thing. And not that I blame the guys, but it's like, bury your chin, and I mean, now the guys really got nothing to hit other than visor and helmet, and it's just like, I feel sorry for you guys. It's like, geez, it's brutal.
Yeah, no, I got some good scars on my hands.
Yeah, well, and then it's like, that's where you got to develop a very good uppercut. Well, and that's what I was asking you about boxing and stuff, because obviously getting ready for this interview, I went back and watched your fights. And folks, there's a very good Matt Henry SJHL WHL fight compilation on YouTube by my boy Yuka in Finland, who put it together. So check that out. It's got all of Matt's fights. So 20 minutes. So I've watched this thing 3 times, and I watched your fights, and I was really impressed with how you could switch hands seamlessly. Was that something you? How did the left come? Like, did that come pretty natural to you, or was it something you really worked on?
Like it just came naturally, and like you remember the movie Goon when it came out in like 2011 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I never, fuck, like I don't know. I guess I was like 7 years old when I watched it, which I shouldn't have been, but whatever. And when they had that final fight with Ross Sabathri and Doug Glatt, and they switched to southpaw, and then I don't know like why that always just stuck in my head. And then, like, once I started fighting, like, it sounds dumb, but, I mean, whatever works, works.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought of that and just, like, kind of finding, like, a rhythm to make it quick and not get hit and stay on your feet at the same time. So, I don't know. It just came easy for me going to the left and, like, being able to just switch quick and then get that power back.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, right? It was such a seamless change, and it's hard for some guys. Like, some guys can't do it at all, but when they switch, it's really pronounced. But yeah, with yours, it was like quick. So I was like, yeah, this has been worked on, you know. But yeah, well, and for those listening, Doug Smith, Doug Glatt, who the movie was based on, Doug Smith. I actually interviewed Doug Smith, if you want to go back in the Fourth Line Voice archives. And he has a very interesting story. And, of course, he talks about, at the end, he talks about the movie Goon and filming it and everything else. But so check that out. Doug Smith. It's a very good interview. Good guy. Cop in Boston. Nice guy. But a great story. But anyway, I digress. Well, another guy that you fought a few times, of course, he's playing for Cincinnati in the East Coast League this year. Rhett Parsons, who was playing for Medicine Hat at the time. How do those battles go? Oh,
good. Yeah, like the first year we played Medicine Hat, like he just wouldn't go me. Like he just kept dusting me off. And then I had to, you know, he was being an idiot. You know, I respected the guy. I'm not chirping him. I'm just saying, you know, at the time,
yeah,
kind of running around and being lippy, you know, like everyone, like I do that too. Like I don't give a shit if a guy said that about me. And then, like, you know, I had to double shift, and I'm not used to playing, you know, even close to that minutes in the first period because I was just trying to get at him. And then, like, the first time we fought, man, like, oh my God, like I couldn't even breathe to start the fight, and I just kind of pretty much had to auto shut him. And like I don't know how I didn't knock him out when I went to my left. Like I don't know how he took that off the chin.
Yes.
Like I literally knocked his bucket and mouth guard off at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, tough dude, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and it's been interesting seeing them there. I know he started up with Toronto. He had a couple fights in camp, and then, you know, down in the East Coast League now. So, Rhett, you got to get on the show, answer some text messages. Well, another guy, and unfortunately, I mean, he was in the news here, and I hear he's recovering and he's back home now, which was good to see because that was an ugly knockout. Was Terrell Goldsmith?
Yeah,
that was some rough shit. But I know you fought him. What was it like fighting Terrell Goldsmith? Tough kid.
Oh man, like hands down, like the toughest guy I've ever fought in my life.
No, there you go.
Like, and I mean him having height on me too. I mean, it's not an excuse. I'm not using that as an excuse at all. But I mean, like I did pretty well. Like I blooded him up, and you know I didn't, you know, kill him. But I mean, he did have to leave the game for a bit there. But yeah, like he could throw. He could throw pretty hard. I had some good welts in my head, like pretty good welts.
Well, and that's the thing. And well, going back just to fighting in general, I mean, like you're 6 feet, right? 6 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so now when you're fighting guys that are like Cumbie and these guys that are 6'5", 6'4", do you? Well, it sounds. Is it easier? That's kind of a stupid way to put it. But would you rather fight a guy like I know I've talked to some guys that were, you know, they'd rather fight taller guys. Did you rather fight a taller guy, or would you rather fight a guy that's like 6 feet like you? Like, what would you prefer? What was easier for you?
Honestly, like fighting the taller guys, like I don't know what it was, but I agree. Like I found it easier, to be honest, and I don't know why. But maybe I just had more jump in my step, you know, because maybe I was, you know, a little more nervous fighting a taller guy.
Yep.
You know, like I don't know what it was. Like I mean, I did good, like, you know, in pretty much all my fights, I'd say. And I mean, you know, there always is someone tougher out there, but like I'd say I've done pretty well in all my fights.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't know, like fighting the taller guys, I kind of liked it a little more.
Yeah, they well, just in fighting in general, it's one thing that I always like to ask guys, and it was like, well, and especially of your generation too, because now everything's on video. Like you could see everything. You just go to hockeyfights.com and they have everything. So you could see were you a big video guy? Like beforehand, did you watch Rhett Parsons fights and Goldsmith fights? Like,
oh yeah, studied.
Yeah.
For weeks.
Now, and it's interesting. Okay, well, so now it's well, the anxiety. That's the one thing I've always marveled at with the tough guy is how you guys deal with anxiety and going into it, knowing like tomorrow you got Rhett Parsons or Cumbie or whoever, and you know, what's the sleep like the night before? Like, because like you said, you've been watching video. I mean, you fought this guy 300 times already in your head. Now he's there. Like, what's it like the night before or the day of? What's that like?
The night before, I never really had an issue, but it was always like my pregame nap. Like I kind of get the cold sweat, like just kind of, you know, like you know, nervous but not scared.
Yep.
You know, just you know, like on my toes, like you know, I can't, like I'm just restless and thinking of what I'm gonna do and you know how it's gonna go down and you know, just over and over and over in my head, and then you know, obviously with the boys, like you know, you can't be like that in the dressing room, right? You gotta, you know, not slough it off, but you know, like whatever, like fuck it, yeah, like I'm gonna go home, you know. And then in your head, you're like, fuck, you know, kind of freaking out.
Yeah. Did you ever have like? Did you have guys in the dressing room, like, so you're sitting there, you know, you do the warm up, or you know, you get there early and you're getting ready. Like, did anybody ever come up to you and like, oh, like you're gonna watch Parsons tonight, or you're gonna kill Parsons tonight? Like, did they just sort of like, you know, it's like a baseball and the guy's throwing a no-hitter. We're not going to talk to him about that. You know, we're not going to talk to him about it. Like, you know, because like nobody ever goes and bugs the goalies and shit, right? Like they're over in their own world. Don't talk to those guys, right? Did they ever come up to you and be like, yeah, you got to get him tonight, Hank? Or did they kind of just let it go?
Yeah, no, I had that lots, man, and it really pissed me off. Like it really, really pissed me off. And then like what also pissed me off is the guys who kind of like laugh about it. You know?
Yeah.
That kind of think it's like that it's funny, and it's like it's not fucking funny, man. Like look what just happened to a guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's no joke. Like we're really hitting each other, and like we're trying to hurt each other. Really, really pissed me off when guys would be like that, and you know, before the game saying that to me, like, oh, you're gonna go home, It's like don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna do my job, and you're gonna do yours, and you don't see me coming up to you, or you're gonna score, or you're gonna get the puck out. Like fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Really grinded my gears. It still does right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, I mean, that's like, I mean, fans are one thing. I mean, they'll say that shit, right? I mean, as you're walking into the ring, get them tonight, you know, kick us out, you know, whatever, fan stuff, right? But yeah, I was going to say, that's got to be real frustrating when it's some of the boys. It's like, come on, you guys. And it's probably always the ones that would never fight themselves, right? Like,
oh, dude, oh my God. Yeah, preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But, and I think a lot of times they probably don't realize they're doing it, right? Or like that it's like an aggravation thing. Like in their mind, they're psyching you up, right? Like they're trying to get you ready, but it's like, dude, you're not helping. It's not helping. Like,
no, it's making it much worse, and I'm getting really pissed off at you now.
Yeah. Is there like looking back? I mean, I guess I'm kind of mixing in both of your seasons here, but kind of just sticking in the first year. Actually, I backtrack. I should have asked you this question when we were talking about the SJHL, but was there when did it become, I know when I've talked to guys about fighting and stuff, you know, the first couple times you fight or whatever, it's almost like spaz fighting, right? Like you're blacked out and you're just swinging and you know, but eventually if you do it long enough, you know, things slow down. You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to do the left, or I'm going to, you know, whatever. Everything slows down. When did it start slowing down for you? Or did it ever?
When I fought Kasperi.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like my first fight against Ethan Hilbig, like that one was just kind of like, you know, just rage.
Yeah.
And then I fought yeah, Kasperi was my next fight, and like honestly, like it just was kind of like slow motion. Like I could just see, like I was calm, like I wasn't, like I was just calm. Like
Yeah.
it just came so easy. And then like going, and I like mid fight, I'm like, oh my, I'm gonna go to my left, and then I went to my left, and I caught him with some good lefts, and I just didn't have the power at 17
Yep.
to really hurt a guy. But I mean, that comes with time and getting bigger and stronger.
Yep. When, being the fight nerd, I always like to ask guys this and always break stuff down because, like we said, you're a video guy and all that stuff. And was it like in terms of a square off? You guys are squaring off. There's that point in the fight when you're gonna get together. There's the no man's land, right? Like there's the line in the sand. Did you want to go or did you want him to come? What did you prefer?
It kind of depended on the guy.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, like I watch guys and what they do. I mean, some guys, maybe it was their first fight, my God. And, kind of just whatever happens. But, and I always like to change my stance. Like, I don't like doing the same thing every time.
Yep.
Watching guys, like, everyone always has their signature, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their go-to when their adrenaline kicks in, right? They're not thinking anymore. They're just going by their fight or flight. So, they're just kind of what feels natural. And then for me, I always would just like to, sometimes I'd come up with my hands up, or I'd have my hands open, or I'd be shaking, or maybe I'd jump at you, or, it's never, ever going to be the same when I fight. So, I mean, and then in terms of, like, him coming to me or whatever, like, I don't even know. Like, it didn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Because I already know what I'm going to do. So, that's kind of my thing.
Yeah, like I know talking to a few guys, especially like kind of maybe a shorter guy, like when they were fighting taller guys, they wanted to get in first, right? Because they wanted to get inside. They didn't want to get strung out, right? They didn't want to get him to get the grab and stuff. So it was like, because I know talking to them, it's like their big thing was to them, some guys were counter punchers. They'd rather the guy come to me and grab me, and they can counter punch. But usually those are the guys that were 6'4", right? But other guys were really conscious of where they grabbed. Like the grab was the most important thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think your first grab is very important.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's going to be your base to the fight. I mean, if you get a shitty grab to start things off, like you're going to be off balance. You might get KO'd right there on the first punch.
Yeah. Now, were you kind of always like collar around the neck, or were you trying to grab arm, or like where were you reaching, shoulder?
Yeah, like depended on the guy. If he was taller, like I knew I had to go collar.
Yeah.
And then just kind of work my way around.
Yeah.
But like if he's closer to my size, I'd be going for shoulder and twisting down. And actually, Michael Furlan taught me that one. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was good for me because then I could counter every time they throw a punch and I'd jam their shoulder.
Yeah.
So it not only would it stop a punch, it would hurt them too.
Well, you brought up Furlan, and there's another guy, Brandon guy. Yeah, when you were in camp, or like, were there guys around, like, or maybe in the summer? Did you, like, where were you with Furlan? Like, that obviously was in the summer, or was that at camp? Did he come back? What's that?
That was me and him went for supper my first year in Brandon, actually.
Yeah.
So, had a chat and told me some stories, gave me some tips, and yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you work with anybody else in terms of fighting that maybe people might know? Like, did Reeves ever come back in the summer?
No, I actually got to talk to Revo one time. I was out. It was after I came back from Brandon. We didn't make playoffs, so me and my buddy and a couple friends, we went out in Saskatoon, and I kept getting this call from this random ass number. And I wasn't answering it because I thought the telemarketer like some scam.
Yep.
And then Marco Lego texted me. He's like, "Answer your fucking phone, Hank." And then Revo called me and he just kind of gave me some tips. And mostly was on like picking my fights like at the right times. Because my first year I was just pretty gung ho about just whoever wanted it is going to get it kind of deal.
Yep.
So I got to chat to a few guys, and like Ryan White too. He's a really super guy. And when I was suspended, obviously quite a few times my second year, I worked with him a lot in the mornings, and gave me some good tips, and he was good shit too.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Well, at the end of your first year, I think you were first. I think you led in penalty minutes, and I think you led in the fights too in the Western League in your first year. So I mean, you had a hell of a first impression. In terms of that first year, did they kind of? I mean, you guys didn't make the playoffs, like you said, whatever. But it was like, did they kind of sit you down and kind of like, you're here next year for sure, or was it still sort of? Did you always feel like you were on the bubble?
No, I knew I had a spot there.
Yeah.
Without sounding cocky, but like, I mean, I made my mark, and that's my role, and no one was going to take my job.
Yeah.
It's how I felt, anyways.
Yeah. Well, and then you had Leaf Camp, right?
Yeah, no, I actually never went.
Yeah, well, but it was offered to you, correct?
Yeah, you betcha.
And just what happened there? You just weren't feeling it, or you just sort of like, just what happened?
I don't know. Like, I don't regret not going without sounding like an asshole.
Yeah.
Because you make your decisions, and you make your bed, and that's the decision you made. But it was July long, and I wanted to be at work, and I wanted to be at the lake and with my friends, and just young and dumb, I guess you could say.
Yep. Well, to start, and then like you said, you're working and stuff. Well, that was the other thing I didn't mention. Younger guys are obviously going to school, and other guys they're sleep until noon and playing video games, and then go to the rink for practice or whatever. You actually had a job, like you were working, correct?
Yeah, like my first year, like it was a job, but it was more of like, it was fun. Like, I was out at this farm there and helping kids, ride horses. And, I don't know too much, but, I said in an interview, I try to be a hand when I can. So, and it was good because I got outside for a few hours, and, they treated me well. They, fed me steak when I was there, and it was nice. And then obviously I got my 1A. And then Jared Jacobson, the owner of Brandon, got me a job with Powell Construction, driving truck. And, I only really did that a few times because I was hauling concrete. And, when I got there, concrete season was kind of over for them anyways. But still, got to get in the truck and, got to do my thing.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know too many guys that are playing major, junior, and working too, though. Like that doesn't happen. I have never heard of that, but I kind of read it in the notes I had on you, and I was something that Yuka in Finland had sent to me, and I was just like, "What? The guy had a job?" And top it all off, it's a construction job. It's like, oh, all right, well, there you go. So, good for you. Good on you, man. Well, like you said, here in the off season, you didn't go to Leaf Camp, but you wanted to work, hang out with the boys, and all that stuff. Going back in your second year, I know you didn't initially go back though. And I know Brandon switched coaches and stuff, and Marty Murray took over. In terms of that, in your year in Brandon there, when you didn't kind of start with the team, what was going through your head at that point? Were you kind of just done with hockey? Were you sort of in that, what was going on there?
It was just more like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like I was really on the fence, because I was working and, making good money, and, I was enjoying life. Like I was, just enjoying life is the best way I could put it. Close to family and, that kind of shit. And then, like, honest to God, I was hauling some aggregate on a Wednesday. And then I honestly, like, I was watching some of the highlights from Brandon. They were playing PA, and I seen Goldsmith fucking just lynch Brett Highland, and was just smoking him on the ice, like just fucking feeding him his lunch. And it honestly made me so mad that I was just like, no, I got to go back and play. Like, that's honestly all it took. So, yeah. And then the rest was history. Obviously, I went back and it it was an okay year.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, like you said, you got to, it's. I imagine your second year, was it a little harder to find fights than it was in the first one?
Oh yeah, it was quite difficult, and then seemed like everything I fucking did was under the microscope, and if I swore, I was getting in shit, and if I was telling a guy I'm gonna rip his fucking head off, I was getting a misconduct, and oh man, it was like everything I did was just bad. Like, just no matter what I did, blow up a guy, penalty, in a scrum, penalty, say the wrong word, suspension. Obviously a couple of my suspensions were definitely deserved, and I'm okay with that, but yeah, it was just ridiculous, man.
Well, I know you had the spearing one, and there was a slew foot one and stuff, and then the one along the bench and whatever, but was that more of a...
That's...
No, go ahead.
The spear was not a spear. My stick was... I crossed because I was going after Waterroot, and he's actually a good buddy of mine, so I have no beef with him, but I was going after him because he kind of sucker punched Quinn Manti on the ice after they fought. I can't let that happen. And then the game before they played there, he was, acting up, so I was, I had to put an end to it, and then went on the ice and went at him, and then Babcock came at me, so I cross-checked him, and I broke my stick, and then, now I'm getting a penalty because I touched the guy. And then, I was going to center ice, and Minton was in my way, and all I did was slash his shin pads. I did not spear him. I got it on video, man. Fuck, I did not spear him. And then, my stick breaks because it was broken. And then, then all hell broke loose. And then put the boys down for 7 minutes. Never seen that before.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, in terms of, suspensions, okay, so you get that, so you get these suspensions. How does that work? Do they just come to you later and be like, oh, yeah, the league gave you 5? Or, do you actually sit in the room when the phone call's there? And, are you a part of the whole, the commissioner's talk, or the player safety, or whatever, the commissioner's talking to you, and now, Matt, don't do that again? Is it the principal's office, or are you even a part of it?
Well, I never got the principal's office until my Saskatoon suspension, I think it was. And if it was the commissioner or whoever the fuck it was. But yeah, he called me before practice and was just tearing into me, and he was saying, guys like you are, the reason, parents don't want to put their kids in hockey, I think is what he said.
Oh God.
And was just fucking giving me the 9 yards. And I just couldn't even believe what I was hearing. And I got to keep my mouth shut because, if I say something, then, the whole world's going to end.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I just, in my opinion, I don't think they wanted me in that league, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, when you're... when you were dealing with the refs and stuff, linesmen or whatever, but obviously, was there any, point to even talking to any of these refs, or was it, you looked at them and you were getting a 10?
Well, I won't say his name, but this one ref in particular, he kept coming by the bench and just staring at me, and this was the Saskatoon game, and just staring at me. And then Murr was like, what are you looking at him for? He's sitting here on the bench. He's not doing anything. And, and I kind of had a beef with him, and he got me suspended 3 times. And, and then once, everything happened with Waterroot, and then, you can see me turn around. And I don't know if anyone can read lips very good, but I didn't say some very nice things to him.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and like you said, it kind of a frustrating year, and then you had the thing with, I laugh because it says attacks Bronco bench. Not really, but was it just a whole bunch of frustration at this point?
Yeah, man. You know what? In terms of the team, the boys, best year of my life. That was the best group of guys, I ever played with. I still talk to lots of them and stay in close touch. And super, just great guys. And we had a lot of fun. But in terms of the hockey, man, just every day was just such a struggle. Just every game, I was just on eggshells. I didn't want to say, something, or I didn't want to, hit a guy, or, just even just looking at a ref, like, it was just fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, and then obviously, like you said, you're going through all that, and it's got to be. I mean, you're out there trying to do a job too, and like you said, now you're on eggshells, and you're always worried about getting suspended. I mean, that's obviously just compounding how hard. It's a hard job to begin with. Now to add that to it, where it's almost like your freedom's sort of getting taken away a little bit. You know, you kind of got the bullseye on you. That's got to be. Yeah, I couldn't imagine the frustration.
Yeah, it was, and then so then when I would freak out, you know, it just kind of all that pent up rage, and yeah, I would lose my shit, man. You know,
Yeah,
at everybody, at the players, at the refs, and you know, just maybe not the best way to handle things, but man, like when you're getting it every game, you know, and I get 2 games for telling a guy I'm going to kill him, and he's saying it right to me too. Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now we're suspending for words. Like, come on now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well, I didn't ask you. Like we talked about the Marty Murray taking over as the coach. I mean, obviously every coach has their own different philosophies and how was it playing for him?
For Murray was great. He treated me very well. Yeah, like I got nothing but nice things to say about Murray. He was. Like we haven't talked for a while, but when we do talk, it's always, hey, how's it going? And just kind of shooting the shit. And super guy, great coach, and he was good for me. He let me play my role, and he understood my role, and he was good with me. So I got nothing but nice things to say about him.
Excellent. Well, kind of the last fight on the compilation that I was talking about was against Landon Ward. You looked a little hot about that one. You looked a little mad at old Mr. Ward. What went down there?
Well, to start it off, he ran Luke Shipley from behind with a cross check. I don't know how that wasn't a penalty. Like, just hit him straight from behind. So I go after him. He's not saying anything to me. And then he blows up Clipper. And then I'm like, let's go. And then I'm like, okay, well, I better get in the play. So I turn around. And then I just feel a right hook right to my ear. And I was so mad. Like, if those linesmen wouldn't have came in, I was gonna keep hitting them. Like, I got no beef with them now. Obviously it's on the ice, stays on the ice, kind of deal.
Yeah.
But my God, was I pissed. That was the only time I've ever really gave it to a guy after a fight. The only time. I've never ever done that.
Well, nothing worse than getting hit in the ear too. That sucks.
Just bruised my ear right up. Like, I wasn't even expecting a punch, and then I just felt one, and obviously the gloves came off instantly. But yeah, like doing shit like that to a guy is just ridiculous. Like, if you're gonna fight, just even if we grab and go, just don't sucker a guy.
No. Well, that was your last Western League fight, and then I gotta. Like I said, we got to talk about it, right? I got to ask you, obviously. Unfortunately, right at the end of the year, there, with about 8 or 9, 10 games to go, you were suspended for what they called for failing a drug test, a performance enhancing. And of course, that's when obviously I was reading online about it, and I think I talked to you about it a little bit, or it might have been your dad. But obviously they weren't coming out and saying it, but it was just performance enhancing. That's why he was suspended, and then that basically ended your Western Hockey League career. Here's your, and of course online everyone's got a theory, right? And everyone's got a story. But I wanted to ask you, here's the man himself, and what happened there, and if you want to get into it, what went down, and what was it all about?
Well, I won't obviously get into too grave of detail, but it wasn't it isn't what people think. I wasn't injecting shit. My God, I'm not that big of a fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing online. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's jacked up to the gills on gas." That's what everybody was saying.
Yeah, man. man, like, I don't know, like that, like, it didn't even, like, it stung for sure because it was right before playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the day before they called at 4:00, and like, yeah, I was pissed off. Like, I was really, really pissed off. And, I mean, it isn't what people think, and like, again, like, I don't give a shit when any Joe Blow has to say on the internet. Like, I know my truth, my old man knows the truth. Like, and that's good enough for me. Like, I'm okay with talking about it. Maybe not too much detail, but, it is what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
a guy, taking something I wasn't supposed to. It wasn't what people think, but yeah, it is what it is.
Well, I'll ask you this, and did you know you weren't supposed to take it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I knew, but I mean, it wasn't like.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I know talking to, like, CIEU guys and stuff like that. I mean, they have antihistamines that are banned. Like, I mean, it gets ridiculous. Like, shit you're getting at Popeyes, they're...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's like you can get supplements that any of us can go buy with our Popeye card and get 10% off, but all of a sudden the Western Hockey League's banning guys for this.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, like... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew, but it wasn't making me stronger than everybody. It wasn't like I'm a Hulk or like I've always been who I am. I work out lots, I eat lots. And again, it is what it is. And I knew I get. And honestly, like, I didn't even really give a shit that I got blown up on social media because my name got put everywhere. So not all media is like bad media kind of deal, in my opinion.
No, not at all. But like you said, though, and unfortunately you can't, people are going to create their own narrative, right? And and unfortunately the loudest voice wins, or that loudest voice is what everyone hears, right? So, and most of the time the loudest voice is clueless. So, no, I just, like I said, we don't have to get into all of it, but yeah, you weren't buying things out of a trunk in the alley behind Ironworks. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything like that.
Well, but you know what I mean? That's what people think, right? Oh, he's all on gas. Like, okay, calm down. Like,
well, yeah, they can think what they think behind their fucking screen. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, there we go, folks. We'll move on. But, yeah, but like you said, unfortunately, that was the end. And, and it's like anybody, right? Nobody wants to be sitting in the crowd watching their team in the playoffs and everything else, right? Nobody wants to be sitting there. Like, obviously the fans, I mean, you have your fans in Brandon that will support you and everything, and other ones that are, like we talked about, keyboard heroes and just online in general, because that's where, like I said, I was reading about it, and there's positive and negative. But how, in terms of the suspension and stuff afterwards, how were with Murray and the boys and all them, were they pretty supportive? Like, were they just didn't leave you on an island by yourself? Like, was it all right?
Oh no, they were very supportive, and the team was too, and my billets were, and my family, and and that helps a lot too. Not feeling like you're stranded. Like you said, and everyone was very supportive, and made sure I was okay. And like, I can handle shit. Like, get suspended is what it is. You deal with it. But yeah, no, and they weren't pointing the finger at me kind of deal. Just kind of like, what's done is done, and just practice and get your workouts in, and just take care of yourself and get ready to go when you're back.
Yep. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, we'll just well, like you said, I mean, we kind of touched on it there about like the social media and the the Western Hockey League message boards and everything else. And I know you're on social media. I know, looking at you're not really obviously that active. You're not whatever posting every day or anything. But did any of that stuff ever get, like, we could just sit here and say, no, that doesn't bother, I don't care. But everyone's human, right? After a while, it's going to start. Especially, some people, they could poke, and eventually you're like you said, when it's some guy, behind a username, it gets a little frustrating. How how frustrating is that as a player, and like, and not just for yourself, but I mean, you guys are sitting in the room and you're on the bus and whatever, and everybody's got phones and everybody's got their faces buried in their phones. How big of a factor is social media with you guys? Did anybody like, hey, did you see what this guy said about us or anything? Like, did anybody take it? Like, did anybody really care? Like, or does it sort of just like you just gotta roll with it? It's part of the thing.
Yeah, it was more of like you just roll with it. Like, honest to God, like I thought most of it, like about me, was pretty funny. You know, because like, you know, who even are you? Like
Yeah.
where did you guys play? Like, half you work, like, no offense, half you work at fucking McDonald's, and I'm not sure if people who work at McDonald's, but you know, you can't compare yourself to me, but, you know, and it's not like people were calling me like a scumbag and a disgrace to the fucking game, and you know, like, it wasn't even about my skill level. It was just like they just hated me.
Well, that's what I mean. It's one thing to, he can't, he's this, he's that, but when you start getting like personal stuff, it's like, okay, come on now.
Yeah, like grow up. Like, you know, half you guys are 30, you know, 50 years old, and you're chirping a 19-year-old. You know, that's playing at the highest level you can and doing his job to the best of his abilities, and you're sitting there paying for the ticket and watching.
Yeah. Did you ever manage to run into a keyboard warrior?
I did, yes. In Brandon, I won't say his name, but if he ever sees this podcast, he'll know I'm talking about him.
Oh, you know he's listed to this for sure. He is.
I hope he does. Anyway, so this guy, man, he's from Brandon. We'll say a Wheat King fan in quotations. Love to beat the boys. Like, not even just me, he would like chirp all the boys and just call us bums and fucking losers. And then I was suspended. I think we're playing Edmonton, if I'm correct. It was towards the end of the period, and I just checked my Facebook, and Seth Townsend was right beside me. He was scratched. He wasn't playing. And yeah, he was like, "Oh, look how good they're doing without that bum loser Henry," or however he worded it, but it was something like that, enough to really piss me off. And I knew where he was sitting. He was sitting by my billet mom. So I just was like, can he come with me, like my teammate? And yeah, I went and found him, and I just confronted him, got right in his fucking face. And, you know, he looked like he'd seen a ghost, and then he didn't know he was stuttering, and, you know, and it just made my day. You know, like, you can't go around doing that to everybody, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, you know, he never said anything bad about me again.
There you go.
So it worked, and
yeah.
it felt good, because like I had enough of this shit. Like, just like, you know, just watch the game. You know, just shut up.
Yeah. Well, like we were saying before, right? I mean, you could have your opinions on the game. Oh, they didn't play very well, or what?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what everybody has the right to do that. But like you said, when you start taking personal shots at guys, and it's like, you know, over and over again, and then especially on social media, I love when they tag the player too. So, I'm going to make sure he sees this too, right? It's like, oh, okay, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Oh, I would have. Now there's a video I wish we had. Oh, I'd have that on the YouTube channel. I'll put it that way. I would have loved to have seen you just lived every player's dream right there, to actually confront somebody that talks shit about him online. That reminds me of the movie, what is it, Jay and Silent Bob, when at the end of the movie they go to every house of the guys that were mouthing off to him on the internet and start beating them up. It's always kind of funny. But yeah, you lived the dream.
Pretty good, because I mean, yeah, like not a lot of guys would even have the balls to do that. But you know, it's just like when you're continuously saying my name, like my name, not anyone else's, my name, you know, saying, you know, like just stupid shit. Like, just shut up, man. Yeah. And if you got something to say, like you come to our games, you know where I sit. Come up to me after the game and tell me that.
Well, yeah, and I've said that to people online a few times, that they're mouthing this guy off. It's like, oh, what, did you not sign your lunchbox in the parking lot? Like, what's your deal, man? And then it's like, you know what? If you got so much to say, and he's this and he's that, they ain't hard to find. You got to, especially at junior hockey or minor league hockey, you got access to them pretty easy. Go up to them and tell them all this. But you know they're not gonna, right? So it's like, Yeah, no, that's tremendous. I love that story. I love when the people like that get it put in their face and then just cower. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, so it was pretty. It was funny. It was
Oh yeah, that would have been great. But I've kept you here for a long time. We'll move this real quick here and just do a couple little fun questions with you. I was asked why the number 67.
Oh, honest to God, that's like literally what they just gave me.
Oh, you weren't. You're not big on the number thing. You're just whatever. Just give me a jersey. Let's go.
Yeah, and I mean, like every team you play for, every I would say number, means something. You know what I mean? So I was 67 in Brandon, and that was who it was. So I'm not too big on it, and that's what they gave me. And I was happy with it.
There you go. Like outside of Brandon now, favorite rink to play in?
Favorite rink. Honest to God, like I want to say Flin Flon.
Tremendous. Yep.
And
the Whitney Forum.
and playoffs, like that atmosphere, man. Oh man, I've never just chills, man. Like just chills. Like when they're banging the Flexi and they got the Metallica going and all the lights, just even being an away team, man. I don't know how guys feel about it, but me personally, I loved it. It was awesome.
There we go. Most hated rink. Worst atmosphere, shittiest fans. You're just like, this sucks.
Oh, fuck. Probably when we went to Prince George my first year. I don't know how the fans are there now, but when we went there our first year, it was just quiet. You could hear a fucking pin drop, man. It was just kind of nothing,
Yeah. As my buddy would say, you could hear a mouse piss on cotton. Yeah. But, worst road trip. Oh, I was going to say Brandon. I was going to say they're all bad. Yeah.
I don't really have a worst road trip. They're they're all just kind of seem the same to me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they were always long. And grueling. So I can't really say a bad road trip, honestly.
Last one. Did you ever who are the most vocal fans? Did you ever get into it with the fans? Like what fan group, where you went to the rink, was it just, holy shit, these guys are just relentless? Or we're going to go back to PA? Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
My hometown.
Yeah, that didn't matter. You were the enemy that day.
Oh, fuck. They were, I'd be in the box and guys would come up there and telling me to go fuck myself and it was awesome. I like that shit. And, it's good to see you're pissing people off, honestly, sometimes.
Well, everybody I've talked to, it's always good, and we've been in the situation, but it's like, I don't know. To me, I always liked being the bad guy. To be the bad guy was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just weird, coming to my hometown and thinking, oh, I'm sure they're happy to see me. No, they were not.
Tremendous. Hey, do you still have any Hank the Tank shirts? I know they were popular in Brandon.
I think I got one laying around, yeah.
That was awesome. They come up with Hank the
Tank.
What's that?
I should have a couple in. I should have a couple if you want one.
Oh, I was just yeah. Well, hey, sure, but no, I was just I know they were pretty popular, and somebody had said they sold out pretty quick. But overall, just in terms of, obviously you had your incident with the guy in the Big Mouth in Brandon, but overall, how were the fans with you? They had to have loved you. Obviously, they're making shirts of you.
Oh, they were tremendous in Brandon. They were really, really good with me, and always made noise, and always loud when I scrapped or made a hit, and signed a lot of autographs, and the kids too. A lot of kids were watching me fight, so that was pretty cool too. Kind of feel like a little bit of a superstar sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. It's Brandon, right? You guys are the biggest thing in town. That's their NHL, right? So it's yeah.
Pretty
cool. You guys are a big deal. Well, I know now that I know you wrapped up here and you're done, junior and everything else. And I'm not spilling company secrets. It's online. You can read it. I know last year, or I guess this season, Tulsa in the East Coast League wanted you to come down there. and you decided to air quote retire, and you're working at everything now. Is there a chance that we're going to see you in Tulsa? What are your chances of playing next year?
Like, you know, like, I don't know, like, lately, like, it's, I've been hemming and hawing pretty good. Probably ever since I chatted with you.
I'm poking the bear here. I've tried to get the itch in you here. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, you know, I there are a lot of days where I do miss a lot, and, you know, going to the rink and being with the fellas, and, you know, like, it's up in there, like, right now. It's definitely more of a chance than it was a couple months ago, you know, and I can do it. You know, like, I'm still in shape and I'm working out, you know, I just got to get skating if you know, that's what I decide, you know, but right now it's up in the air, and you know, I'm itching for sure. Like, I'll say that.
Yeah, we'll never say never, right? I guess is what we're saying, right? But, well, I was talking to you off air, right? Cade McNally's down there, and he's loving Tulsa, and, you know, I'm applying soft pressure. I'm like, yeah, I think you should go try it, man. You should go try it, yeah. I want to see you and Rhett Parsons have a rematch in the East Coast League. That's what I want to see. But,
yeah, that's it.
But yeah, man, no, wow. And then the other one I brought up to you, you kind of laughed. Could we ever see Matt Henry in Ice Wars?
Fuck, I don't know. That's there are some big boys in that. I don't know. Like, we'll see what the future holds with that. I'm not too sure about that one, but you know, a guy's mind can change, right? So we'll never know. Never say never.
Yeah, June 28th in Edmonton. Just saying. You never know. But anyway, man, yeah. It's been fun talking to you, going back and forth, and getting you on the show here. And it was I had a lot of fun there last year when I did the player spotlight on you. And I know Yuka, my boy there in Finland, that he did the video online there of your compilation, and of course he sent me some. Ask him this, ask him that, and he's like, oh, you got to check out this Matt Henry, man, because Yuka, of course, with the time difference. Like, he's getting up at like 3 a.m. to watch Brandon Wheat King games, and he goes, I haven't done that in years, but he goes, Matt Henry was the reason I would set my alarm at 3 a.m. so I would watch these Brandon games, because he goes, he's a throwback, and he was a huge fan of yours, and he also kept, you got to tell him to go to Tulsa because he wants you to play too, but you had a huge fan in Finland, we'll put it that way, and he was the one that put that compilation on YouTube that I'll put a link in the show here in the description in the bottom. So check that out. 20 minutes of Matt's fights from Junior. But so Yuka, I know you're listening, so thank you for all your help with for getting this interview done. But I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down today and share your story.
Yeah, no, this is pretty fun. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, and we'll see if you if I could talk you into playing again. Maybe we'll have you back on for after your first pro season, and if not, well, you had a hell of a run, man. You made it to the peak of junior hockey, and as a fan, thank you. It was fun to go down the rabbit hole and hear your story, and I appreciate it. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
And you people that don't like fighting, how many of you did you walk out and get a coffee while that was on?